Snow Den at Yellowstone highlights what it's like in a national park during winter. Yellowstone became our first national park in 1872. Many people wanted to preserve special places around our country, and when men and women would go to places like Yellowstone area, they realized this has to be preserved. So they did. In 1872, it was dedicated as a national park. In the summertime, millions of people go to Yellowstone. Now, most of Yellowstone is located here in Wyoming. Some is in Montana, some in Idaho, but the majority of it is here in Wyoming. I live in Lansing, Michigan, so I tell boys and girls it's 2,000 miles away from Lansing, but it is very definitely worth the trip in a car. Or if you fly, it's much shorter, but it's just a great park to visit. I was there shortly after the fire in 1988, and since then it has come back and wolves have been reintroduced, and it's a great place to visit. We all know about Old Faithful, the geyser, and the Mammoth Hot Springs. And in the wintertime, many of the animals that are at the upper elevations come down because they can get 50 feet of snow in the winter. So the animals come near the lodges that are kept open. There's one lodge open near Old Faithful, and another one is near the Mammoth Hot Springs. And I tell boys and girls when I talk to them, would your mother stay in a lodge if she looked out and saw a bison or elk or moose hovering around? But they do. They come down because they can forage much easier on vegetation that is still available in the wintertime. Now, what's really a fun point in this book is that there is so much snow, and I tell kids what it's like even to celebrate Christmas out there. So Ben and Bekka, our main characters, and their family meet up with some of their cousins and aunts and uncles, and they spend Christmas at Yellowstone. Now, with all the snow that they have there, I did some research on the various designs of snow, and I tell kids that you can go out on a sunny day if you have snow in your location, and you can use a magnifying glass to look at the various shapes. They're all six-sided, and every snowflake is different. For those of us who live in northern states and we have a lot of snow, it's hard to imagine that each snowflake is different, but they are. So you can go out and check it out with a magnifying glass. Now, in national parks, I introduce boys and girls to the rangers. There are policemen and women, we call them rangers, who guard the park. They know what should be in the park, they know what shouldn't be in their park. And the rangers at Yellowstone, what's interesting about them, in order to get into the park, because at the lowest elevation, they still have like 5 feet of snow, they have to ski into work some days. So they have to take the tires off of the tour buses, and they put treads on the back and skis on the front, and that's how you get around some parts of Yellowstone in the winter time. Now, in my book, I have a daring winter rescue. Some kids go out, and one in particular has a spill, and she needs to be rescued as they are out on a ranger-led activity. They're there after dark. So what do some of the boys and girls have? Headlamps. It's fun in my books. I bring in things like cameras, binoculars, fishing poles, sunken ships, and this one, headlamps. A lot of kids have access to a headlamp. Maybe they haven't ever used one, and it kind of lets them know you can go and have an adventure with a headlamp after dark. Now, one of the things that I also do is to incorporate the Junior Ranger program. Before I visit a national park, I send and ask for the book so that I can study it, know what's there in the park, and then when I'm writing my books, I incorporate it into the plot and the storyline. I introduce the boys and girls to what animals are there, what birds they should be looking for if there is a waterfall. And in Yellowstone, they go looking for various highlights that you can see easily in the summer, but it takes a lot of work to find them in the winter time. One cool thing that I like to introduce to the reader is how to make snow ice cream. I learned that if you fill a baggie with another bag inside, and you put in 6 cups of snow, we'll use a measuring cup, surrounding the smaller bag. Here are 2 recipes. You can eat the snow, or you can use it on the outside of your baggie. So you have like 6 cups of snow, and then you put in 6 tablespoons of salt, which I have measured out, which melts the snow and helps your ice cream to set up a lot quicker. You put in a half a cup of half and half into your inside baggie. A tablespoon of sugar. And then a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And people like me really like chocolate. Whoops. So we add a little chocolate sauce to taste. Okay. Or you could add strawberry flavoring, whatever is your favorite. Then you seal this up, getting rid of a lot of the air. Then seal it inside of the other bag, letting out the air. And because it's very cold, you have to put on your gloves. And boys and girls just love doing this. You start mushing it back and forth until it forms a hard ice cream. You have to be careful you don't puncture your small bag, letting the salt in, but it doesn't take too long, and then you get to eat your ice cream. So I hope you live in a climate where you can enjoy a treat like this, like I will in just a few minutes, and enjoy it, or go to Yellowstone in the wintertime. They have lots of snow there, and you can make this. Now this book also highlights about poaching. The main characters, Ben and Bekka, and their cousin, they see things happening, they know something's going on, and they work with the ranger to expose the bad guys who are doing something to deface Yellowstone. Now, there are rules in a national park that Ben and Bekka always observe, but they know that there's others that are not. So, snowed in at Yellowstone, if you listen to the title carefully, Snow Den in Yellowstone, is it about animals, or is somebody snowed in Yellowstone? This book is available from nationalparkmysteries.com and affordably priced at $7.95. Fun reading for preteens, families who want to go there to Yellowstone to visit, or even to make a western swing of our country with other national park books as well. Oh, let's see if this is hard. A little bit of extra mushing. Take off my gloves. Sample it. Oh, it's not quite ready. Going to take a few more minutes. So I'm just going to let this set here, and I'll enjoy it in a few minutes. Snowed in at Yellowstone.